Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another Ikari Kenshin video. Okay, today we are going to be doing our first run through Ramparts, recorded anyway. I've done this a few times, but for those of you who were just curious about the instance that may not have played this yet, or this would be your first time playing it coming up, this is just a little walkthrough as we run through this. This would be my tanking experience here. Oh, of course you're gonna disarm me, bro. Stop disarming me, man. I'm I'm higher level than this place. So, like, I'm not at 63 right now. So what I'm trying to do here is trying to just make sure I maintain as much rage as possible. These guys, you want to make sure you stay away from the Bone Shore destroyers. Not stay away, but if you're melee, make sure you're behind them because they do a cleave. And also be careful with these pulls at the beginning if you're a tank because you can end up pulling multiple groups at once by accident if you're not careful. So just be aware that this guy with the two dogs, the Bone Chewer Ravener, he does pat with the two dogs, so just be mindful of that. Am I about to die? I don't think I get Spell Reflect until 64, so these spellcasters are going to be a problem. A 410 defense. Gotta make sure I put enough thread on all of these so that, they don't get pulled. This group here, I would recommend you LOS these guys because they are spellcasters. You need them up in your face so that you can really get control of the mobs. Not them fearing me, bro. Yeah, the caster groups are always like the hardest groups to tank. With this group, you want to definitely kill this Bone Chewer Beastmaster first, because he summons extra adds that will make this fight a lot more difficult than it needs to be. So just make sure you kill him first. I believe you have about 15 to 15 seconds to kill him before he summons those adds. If you have enough DPS, it should be fine. And of course, you know, with the stuns by the rogue classes. If you decide to play a warrior, just keep in mind that it is going to be significantly more difficult to hold aggro on multiple mobs at once, because we're not very versed in AoE tanking. And the only thing we really have for multiple mobs is Thunderclap and Cleave, and that's about it. So you want to make sure that you're dumping as much Devastate, which applies Sunder armor, onto your target as possible. And what I do is I'll just drop 2 Sunders, and then I'll rotate to the next target and drop 2 Sunders, and then, you know, I'll rotate between that and Thunderclap, so that, you know, I at least get some initial threat on the mobs. These ones here in Ramparts will be difficult because they do disarm you regularly, so just keep that in mind. I like to make things make things easier and be a little more efficient. I was hoping that I wouldn't pull that, but you know, for some reason they're connected no matter what. So far I'm doing alright. That one ranged over there, I didn't want to risk pulling the boss, so that's why I left him there. He was also casting Rain of Fire too, so he can do that all he wants as long as he's not, you know, individually targeting like the healer or something. What I want to try to pull is this group here. Hopefully I only get those 3. I'm also leveling up my my weapon skill for axes because I've been using a sword since I hit level, honestly, since last night. Since last night when I got this axe, I've been using swords. So my swords are up to like 310 skill, and I think my axes are at what now? 300. They were at like 250 something or 290 something before. need to kill this guy ASAP before the boss gets pulled. If you're still leveling and you are in this dungeon or any of these beginner dungeons before you hit level 70, it is a good idea, if you haven't maxed or gotten enough rep, if you have the time and you have a patient group, then make sure you guys get as much reputation as possible, because each mob kill gets you reputation for specific factions, and that reputation will eventually be able to get you your heroic keys, and then it will also be able to help you get some pretty decent upgrade weapons and items too. So you guys definitely want to make sure that you get your reputation up. You can do that with questing up until, I believe, honored, if I'm not mistaken. And you can also do that with just dungeon farming. So you can do it with quests, or you can just come grind dungeons and you can get from neutral up to friendly and then up to honored just by doing these. So whichever playstyle you choose, there's definitely benefits for you. Come over here, you. This guy, he's pretty simple. Tank and spank. He occasionally does a charge onto a random player. It's in the group. I believe it's probably the person that's the furthest away. I think I'm gonna need on that, because it'd be nice to have a So no one needed it, so I was able to grab that. You never know, you might decide that you want to switch over to DPS and do Fury or something, or use a different weapon to tank with. If no one's using these weapons, or if no one's needing them or any of the items, then make sure you know, if you can use it, then grab it just in case. Otherwise, just greed. Hey, this instance isn't very long at all, and it's actually quite small too, as far as the size of it. And I think roughly it takes about, if you're quick, you can probably get that done in about 25 minutes or so. I'm gonna try to knock this out as quickly as I can for the sake of the length of the video. Because otherwise I would cut out the trash pulls and just do the bosses, but I would also like to, you know, add some info in there for anyone who hasn't been in these dungeons before or doesn't have much experience in them, so they don't really know the mobs. These mobs are going to be a little difficult, as they are all spellcaster, and sometimes they're not even there. Sometimes they're just not there. This time they are here. I'm trying to hold aggro on them as best as I can, because they are spread out, each individually casting spells. It's a good job, guys. Might I recommend also, guys, that all the greens that you get, if you don't necessarily need them, I would recommend that you hold on to the greens that you have and maybe hit up a enchanter friend, or just hire someone, you know, tip someone to disenchant your greens for you if you don't need them and if you're not in desperate need of money, because the materials are definitely valuable. We pulled a little bit more than we wanted to there. The materials are valuable later on. Once you hit level cap, you'll definitely need those enchanting materials so that you can enchant your own gear. These lo-fi beats, they sound like freaking lullabies, man. Renew our battle shout. Everyone's drinking. There we go. We still got some decent amount of mana or rage left. Of course I got disarmed. Because why wouldn't I, right? If at any point you have the option, LOS those spellcasters because they will be a pain. We're gonna go ahead and pull this group and we're gonna LOS. I think we're doing pretty decent. We're making good time. We have about 1, 2, 3, 4 more trash pulls and 2 bosses left. Of course, they disarmed me again, right? I'm trying to save up some of my rage so that we can go into this boss fight here with a decent amount. Go in here, shield bash this one, shield slam this one, thunderclap in the middle, and pull them close together, do a little cleave. There you go. Alright, this boss is also pretty easy. He summons a fell hound that will go after the casters and drain their mana, so you gotta watch out for them. If you're a tank, just make sure you try to keep some AoE down when you see it spawn. He also drops a debuff on you or a random character that does damage to people near him. I don't think he dropped it on anyone yet, but it's like a red aura. You can't miss it. If you have it, you'll definitely know. cool mace. It's like a paladin mace, paladin slash maybe enhancement shaman. So yes, the debuff is like a red smoky aura, and he drops it on one character or one of the players in the party, and they do ticking damage to anyone nearby. I think within 15 meters or 15 yards. So just make sure if you have it, you steer clear of everyone else, and if someone else in your party has it, you do not get near them because it does hurt. Okay, and then once you clear these two mobs here, the boss will automatically come down. So make sure that you guys are good on mana and health before you pull these. Here I'm going to try to stack up some rage. See? It comes down automatically right after. While you're fighting, oh, see, there it is. While you're fighting Vazrudin, which is this guy's name, the dragon, Nazan, will be throwing fireballs randomly at people. So you have to look out for those. When he comes down, he will do that fire breathing attack. And where he did the fire breathing attack, there will be sitting fire, and it will tick and it will hurt you a lot. So you definitely want to face him away from the rest of the group and also move out of the fire. Just like that. And there you got a clean clear, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys coming through. And if you have any requests, any dungeons you want to see, then or any questions, just let me know in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. Guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And as usual, take it easy, guys. Peace.